So the point that cloning is not perfected, and so it's not worth doing anymore. For instance, what Selma was talking about in terms of its uncertainty, impracticality. But how do we reach a point where it is more certain and practical? You have to keep studying it and doing it.
Yeah, you have to feel like it's unpractical to like research for medicine and stuff.
Yeah, but you need to figure out a way to study it where you're not killing humans or animals.
Well, we're killing like lab mice and stuff for research on medicine, and
We're making OPs,
yeah.
Organisms are still
Not
living
practicality, one minute.
organisms, they live life on that.
Yeah, but we use them for research on medicines and stuff.
Just
We kill mice every day. We kill like 100 mice in each lab every day.
And so those are some of the things you need to think about, is where we got to today and the comfort of your life now was at the cost of several lab animals probably dying for that. How do you feel about that?
Be the same as cloning.
Wait, do people test on animals right now?
Yeah, we still test on animals now.
Oh yeah, that should be cool. We should be able to progress cloning by testing on animals. I don't
So if we do it now, then it's still okay?
Yeah, that'd be cool. I don't really care, it's just animals.
It's just like there's a bunch of. Oh, I was thinking of like throughout the whole debate. There's like a couple questions that people need to ask. It's like when is embryo considered a baby and living, and when are you willing to use animals to further the human race? Those are the two biggest things.
Yeah, and those are pretty much some of the basic questions in terms of embryonic stem cells, is when is something considered living? And that's then gets into a whole debate of what abortion is, but we're not going to get into that.
Let's have another debate.
But there's also
So-
using
The day we
cloning
get
to
back,
help
we'll debate.
animals or not.
Right, and so we're sacrificing animals to help the animals. It seems counterintuitive in many cases, but unless we figure out some way of doing it without that, what do? Do we stop the research we're doing completely? Or do we
We're gonna go into
Continue
another
on.
mass extinction.
go into another mass extinction?
If you stop the research now, it's never going to get any better. So like maybe killing a few lab mice right now is better than having the whole human race die out later. Like if we can preserve it, not just so we can have clones of everyone to live longer, but to preserve the population and
Wait, we don't need to preserve our population. We're growing too fast. We just
but like later in the future, if we can use this technology, not just now to make our population even bigger, but when it's starting to go down, we can keep it at a steady rate.
we're growing too fast. But like in a few years, we're gonna almost have a planet and so there's poverty and starvation everywhere. That's why we try and clone each other.
Yeah,
But
maybe in a few
maybe-
hundred years, it might not be that way.
Like I remember when I was in 5th grade, they said 50 years from now, the population will be triple and it'll be terrible.
Yeah, that's not true anymore.
Maybe making humans more resistant to like natural causes that cause us to die out is a bad thing, because then we're never like prey for other predators, which means that we'll never die out, and eventually I feel like all animals might die out.
And so that goes to the question of medicine, though, because the human lifespan, back, say, when with the Neanderthals, was if you're 30, 35 years old, you're considered old. Right? So should we have not advanced to live longer?
But were we meant to be advanced if we were created smart enough to create medicine and help ourselves advance stuff?
Well, not everything we can do, we should do.
But how do we decide? We have to say
How do we decide? Who's going to make those decisions?
God.
Obama.
Great idea.
No,
Us.
you.
The people.
The
Obama.
future.
You are going to be making those decisions.
My
When we grow up,
decision
we're
is
gonna be
Obama.
bombarded. So we're like, do you want this?
All right? Every single one of you are going to be making those decisions.
What's up with like all the people in like the parents' generation now, leaving all the stuff for us to fix.